You passive-aggressive Roombas of the human subspecies, doom-scrolling with the intensity of Mark Zuckerberg trying to comprehend a chaos emoji. You believe your $800 gravity blanket and binaural delta wave nonsense makes you the pinnacle of sleep science. Ancient Spartans took power naps standing upright like drunken flamingos guarding a Taco Bell dumpster. Their bedtime routine, leaning against a shield crusted with enemy viscera, while their drill sergeant whispered sweet nothings about Athenian decadence and the cowardice of lumbar support. Meanwhile, Diogenes, the original toxic productivity guru, curled up in a giant amphora like a malodorous human quass. Starter. This man weaponized homelessness before it was a Silicon Valley flex, proving you don't need Casper mattresses when fueled by stoic rage and unresolved daddy issues. His secret: treating comfort like an ex's Instagram story, view without engagement. Fast forward to your sleep-optimized dystopia. Smart rings tracking REM cycles with the accuracy of a magic 8-ball. White noise apps blending rainforest ambience with distant police sirens. We're out here paying subscription fees for the privilege of dozing off to an algorithmic lullaby, while our vertebrae slowly assemble their resignation letter. Medieval knights could snore through chainmail chafing mid-crusade, but you'll throw out your neck reaching for a dehydrated mango slice across a memory foam crater. But here's the tragicomic plot twist. Those same Bronze Age gigachads who invented philosophy and catamites couldn't distinguish a carrot from a parsnip if you threatened them with an artisanal chia pudding. Theophrastus, basically Aristotle's overcaffeinated TA, authored botanical papers conflating root vegetables like a boomer confusing TikTok with Vine. Imagine storming Thermopylae with bronze abs gleaming, only to debate vegetable taxonomy with the confidence of a golden retriever identifying tax documents. Spartans weaponized this ignorance. Their legendary black broth, a lukewarm smoothie of pig's blood, vinegar, and existential dread, wasn't nutrition. It was performance art. Flavor was deemed bourgeois weakness, right beside comprehensive dental care and not strangling helots before breakfast. If your stew didn't taste like a hate crime against taste buds, you might as well Persian curve your morals for a honey-drenched fig. Now observe your pathetic simulacrum of vigilance, vibrating beneath blue light filtration glasses at 3 a.m. while your ancestral DNA scream whispers. You could be clearing fields of bandits or inventing concrete. But no, your heroic struggle involves resisting DoorDash nachos as you mispronounce matcha for the 4th time this week. The ancients fought wars on 2 hours of vertical REM sleep before revolutionizing geometry with bark tea hallucinations. You're paralyzed by Netflixes. Are you still watching? Interrogation while your lower back audibly morphs into chalk dust. Civilization peaked when philosophers debated metaphysics while gnawing mystery tubers like raccoons dissecting a tamper-proof pill bottle. Now we've evolved into flesh robots debating circadian fasting apps between holding our bladders during Wednesday binge sessions. The final joke: we swapped Sparta's military-grade sleep deprivation for the existential terror of optimizing dark mode settings, while our skeletons slowly crumble like a Kroger brand granola bar. Next time your smartwatch shames your poor sleep hygiene, remember Diogenes jackhammered Western philosophy from a pottery coffin. You can't even decide between podcasts titled Optimal Life Trademark and Minimalist Murder Tales. Your biological firmware is screaming for a charging port epiphany, while you're mainlining cortisol over LinkedIn influencers cosplaying productivity. Let that simmer in your Tibetan singing bowl between panic naps. True progress isn't quantified. It's realizing your Paleolithic sleep paralysis demon is judging your weighted blanket choices. Meanwhile, the so-called father of botany Theophrastus was elbow-deep in the ancient Greek produce aisle, committing vegetable crimes that'd make a Whole Foods manager commit arson. This clown taxonomy dumped carrots and parsnips into the same category because they shared the scientific distinction of looking kinda pointy. Picture a TikTok wellness guru classifying almonds and asbestos as texture siblings. That's the intellectual rigor we're dealing with. His magnum opus inquiry into plants, more like fumbling at roots like a drunkard in a garden. The Greeks worshipped parsnips as nature's little blue pill because apparently those twisted ivory roots screamed aphrodisiac to anyone who'd never seen a mirror. Meanwhile, carrots, their orange step-cousins, got relegated to medicinal footnotes for centuries. Because nothing says peak nutrition science like believing soil phalluses cure erectile dysfunction. Spoiler, they do not, unless your fetish involves historically inaccurate halitosis. Enter modern pseudoscience chucklefucks crashing the party. Swap Theophrastus dirt-covered scrolls for Instagram infographics, where celery juice cures cancer and moonlight charges your chakras. Same dopamine-deprived instinct to wildly mislabel plants, now with 500% more enema endorsements. Want proof humanity's stuck on stupid? The ancients chugged fermented carrot wine believing it'd turbocharge their horizontal rhapsodies. Today, you've got biohackers snorting wasabi off Himalayan salt slabs claiming it unlocks DMT. Evolution is a flat circle of twink-brained wishcasting. Here's the bonkers part. Parsnips contain psoralens, compounds that chemically blister your skin under sunlight. Greeks were essentially rubbing vegetable napalm on their junk, while philosophers argued whether pleasure was a moral absolute. The real moral. When your civilization confuses toxic roots with tumescence tonics, maybe stop lecturing Persia about cultural refinement. Want to experience authentic ancient Greek cuisine? Take an Uber Eats salad. Replace the kale with wild hemlock and blue steel at your dinner guests while insisting it boosts vital essences. Extra authenticity points if you charge 200 drachmas for it and call it farm to soma. And you, proud owner of $900 Vitamix pulverizing adaptogens into existential sludge, sit in judgment. At least Theophrastus had the decency to die before founding Goop. Modernity didn't escape the dumb, we just spreadsheet it. By the year 1347 CE, Europe's monastic pissing contest for divine suffering had escalated beyond flagellation or hair shirts. No, real holy men didn't just endure pain. They weaponized inconvenience. Benedictines in Burgundy pioneered the ultimate flex, sleeping upright like fainting goats strapped to church walls. Competitive asceticism morphed into a vertical arms race. Brother Anselm's record, 93 days without lying down. Chronic insomnia became godly virtue, snoring rebranded as devotional wheezing. The logistics, pure Darwin award draft picks. Monks would loop hemp ropes under their armpits and anchor themselves to stone buttresses, medieval kickstands for consciousness. Others built sleeping pillars with tiny footrests doubling as hemorrhoid incubators. The kicker, their rulebook banned daytime naps. So you've got men hallucinating from sleep deprivation by matins, interpreting bat squeaks as angelic choirs. The Vatican's endorsement. Let's just say they treated mortification of the flesh like a holy MLM scheme. Every level up earned you bonus martyr points redeemable in the afterlife's corporate lounge. Modern parallels slap harder than a wet rosary. Corporate grind culture glorifying 4-hour sleep cycles. Same cult, different vestments. Tech bros microdosing LSD to hack REM cycles. Are just these jackasses with standing desks instead of hair shirts? Or productivity replaced piety, but the stupid still echoes. At least the monks didn't charge 1,700 ducats for a course on bilateral vertical alignment, like some shrieking instaguru flogging bamboo back braces. Now brace for the biological facepalm. Permanent upright posture screws with your sinuses harder than snorting holy water. Gravity pulls mucus into a perpetual swamp in your maxillary cavities. Result: monks sneeze through vespers like chain-smoking geese. Chronic rhinitis became so rampant, 12th century infirmaries stockpiled thyme poultices like contraband jazz cabbage. Historical accounts mention a blessed drip from the nose, divine discharge my ass, that's your immune system rage quitting. Dig the cognitive dissonance. These geniuses documented migraines, swayback spines, and fainting spells tied to their sleeping hack. Solution: not horizontal sanity. Oh no, they blamed Satan. Nightly calf cramps were demonic fingernails clawing at their femurs. Sleep paralysis hallucinations became personalized hellscape VR. One monk's diary describes Satan as a carnation-breasted badger offering feather beds. Medieval MK Ultra meets Looney Tunes. Zero self-awareness, all the fervor. Funnier still, the Loophole Kings. Rules forbade horizontal limbs, so Cistercians invented the half-recline, leaning at 45 degrees on splintered boards. It's like watching toddlers cheat at musical chairs. Church elders raged, calling it slothful geometry, but the damage was done. By the Black Death, whole monasteries resembled IKEA showrooms of dangling meat sacks. God's celestial toaster strudels, swaying into salvation one herniated disc at a time. And spare a thought for the real victims, medieval cobblers, customizing boots for foot edema so severe, monks waddled like penguins auditioning for a stroke commercial. Podiatry wasn't a science then. Foot rot got you a slap on the back and extra latrine duty. Hell, the only varch support, came from laudanum doses strong enough to tranquilize a siege engine. Want to taste their dedication? Try power napping against your fridge after chugging 2 pots of sludge coffee. Add a nail-studded belt, chronic gout, and your roommate blasting Gregorian death chants. That's sanctity, baby. Just swap incense for vape pens and St. Augustine for Andrew Huberman. The takeaway: humanity will alchemize any torment into virtue if you gild it with enough delusional prestige. We're not evolved. We're cosplaying enlightenment through self-immolation. Coda. In 1702, French surgeons exhumed Brother Gaston's skeleton, vertebrae stacked like drunken Jenga blocks. Died at 39, spine curved like a question mark. If that's holy posture, I'll take the hell-bound memory foam heresy. But let's pivot from holy hernias to horticultural homicide, because nothing screams orgy like mistaking a parsnip for a carrot. Romans weaponized root vegetables harder than TikTokers detoxing with celery juice. See, Greek botanists categorized carrots and parsnips under Daucus sativus. Deadable stick that won't kill you, probably. By Nero's reign, this confusion birthed aphrodisiac stews containing 0 actual carrots, just fibrous nightmare tubers scraped from graveyard soil. Imagine serving your mistress a steaming bowl of boiled fence post, convinced it'll make you perform like a siege ram. Spoiler, it made their nether regions retreat like Gauls from Caesar. Pause here if your grandma ever snuck zucchini into your brownies. Green betrayals unite us across millennia. Now, the real insanity. Roman foodies thought carrots resembled phalli, so naturally they shoved them into every libido-enhancing dish, not knowing Pliny the Elder had confused wild carrots with poison hemlock. Cue orgies devolving into puking contests over bronze basins. Caligula once hosted a feast featuring carrot, stew laced with valerian root and powdered lead. Attendees hallucinated chariot races in their colons while their bowels staged a slave revolt. Historians now suspect the Great Fire of Rome was just Nero's attempt to incinerate the bathroom aftermath. Let's autopsy the recipe. Take 1 part parsnip, 2 parts crushed pearl, and a splash of calcified cuttlefish ink. Simmer until the broth whispers threats in Aramaic. Serve to Vestal virgins and watch them renounce celibacy, not from lust, but to flee the table. Even Bacchus would have preferred prison wine. Worse, this carrot charade infiltrated medicine. Galen prescribed carrot tonic for impotence, unaware his suppliers were harvesting cow parsnip, a UV-activated skin blisterer. Wealthy patricians rubbed it on their groins before sunset affairs, resulting in genitals resembling overripe figs. Roman romance died not with barbarians but dermatological war crimes. By 300 AD, the empire's gardens grew 70% hemlock parsnip hybrids, yet Marcus Aurelius still journaled, "'Tis but a flesh wound, pass the stew." The Senate mandated carrot-only diets for malnourished legions, turning soldiers into jaundiced weaklings who couldn't lift shields, let alone libidos. Imagine Goths arriving to pillage and finding the Praetorian Guard napping in orange puddles of their own digestive regret. Barbarians left pity coins and cabbages. So next time you gag on carrot cake, remember, That frosting-smeared abomination is the gastronomic echo of an empire that doom-scrolled itself into collapse, one mislabeled root at a time. We're still repeating it. Keto crusaders chugging celery juice while their guts stage gladiator recreations. Humanity doesn't learn. We just repackage stupidity with better marketing. But let's dissect our next cell phone. The myth of stoic ancients snoozing upright like fascist meerkats. Spoiler: those marble-carved philosophers sprawled horizontally when cameras weren't rolling. The standing sleepers. Those were medieval peasants playing Russian roulette with parasite bingo. Imagine your floorboards crawling with rat fleas carrying enough plague juice to unalive a diocese before Sunday Mass. Horizontal sleeping wasn't laziness. It was biological warfare. You'd wake with more abscesses than a Victorian heroin den. Medieval chronicles mention vigil slumber techniques, perching against walls like drunk flamingos. Not for enlightenment, but survival. 14th century woodcuts show families sleeping in rotted oak barrels like dystopian Pringles cans to avoid flea migration routes. The Black Death wasn't some divine punishment. It was a rent-free tenant named Yersinia Pestis throwing raves in your straw mattress. Historians estimate 60% of peasant homes hosted flea colonies denser than a Trump rally crowd. Lie down, and you're basically French kissing bubonic septicemia. Here's the punchline. Modern survivalists fetishize this torture as Spartan discipline. Bro, Spartans had beds. Their slaves scrubbed floors with vinegar. Meanwhile, your average medieval serf treated bedtime like a minefield. One wrong roll and your cheek gets a flea tattoo. Yet TikTok biohackers now pay $3,000 for vertical sleep pods because Huberman said it boosts testosterone. Congrats! You've reinvented the bubonic plague bunker but with Bluetooth speakers playing Andrew Tate audiobooks. And the vegetable trolling continues. Ever wonder why Bugs Bunny's Crunch Happy missiles are orange? Dutch horticultural gaslighting. 17th century farmers turned carrots into nationalist propaganda by selectively breeding beta-carotene mutants to match William of Orange's decor. They flooded markets with color-modified roots shouting, "Support the House of Orange," like edible campaign posters. Pre-Dutch tech, carrots were purple, white, or yellow, colors sane people associate with food, not royalist dick-swinging contests. We're still gobbling the Kool-Aid. Orange became the default because dictators love branding. Lenin's embalmed corpse has a healthier glow than this veggie fascism. Worse, modern rainbow carrot. Kits sold to crunchy moms are just GMOs reverse-engineered to mimic pre-Dutch diversity. You're paying Whole Foods markup for capitalist cosplay. It's like buying water from Nestlé but pretending you're sticking it to the man. The final joke. Dutch carrot propaganda failed within decades. William got deposed like a Karen returning a latte while farmers pivoted to tulip scams. Yet we cling to their vegetable psyop like hissing raccoons guarding dumpster sushi. Humanity's MO. Choose vibes over truth every time. So smash that subscribe button if you enjoy watching our species faceplant through history. Ring the bell for future episodes where we'll unpack how French revolutionaries guillotined aristocrats over gluten sensitivity conspiracy theories. Or don't. Either way, capitalism wins, and we'll all die in climate wars fueled by almond farmers. Doomers engage.